Hi, and welcome to Artworks Fine Arts Studios art class online. Today we are going to be working on drawing a snail. I'm really excited to work with you today. All you're going to need for this project is a pencil, an eraser, and a couple pieces of paper. Let's get started. So before we get started on our actual drawing, it's very important to warm up when you're doing a drawing. I relate it to sports a lot. You want to warm up your muscles before getting started on your final picture. To warm up, what I like to do is just start drawing some simple shapes. Maybe some ovals, some circles, some squares, some triangles. And as you can see, I go over lines multiple times just to kind of get a feel and for that shape. Just have fun with it. Draw different shapes, some rectangles. They don't have to be perfect. You are just, again, getting ready and warming up your hand muscles. One little tip that you can do is take a piece of scrap paper and rest it on the paper so you don't get any pencil marks on your hand. Another little thing you can do is what's called the infinity drill. This really gets you warmed up well, along with any odd kind of shapes that you feel like you want to present. Today we're going to be drawing a snail, and as you see, this is called a step drawing. We are going to start with simple shapes and slowly add them together until we get our finished picture. We're going to start with a simple circle, and the first shape that we're going to draw is the most important shape that we're going to add because it's going to tell you how big and where everything else is going to go. So if I were to start, I wouldn't want to make that first shape too small because then you'd have all this extra space. I also wouldn't want to make that shape too big because I'd still want to be able to fit the head and the tail and the antenna. So my first shape is going to be something like this. Now it's very important when you're drawing that you want to draw as lightly as you possibly can. That way, in case you need to erase anything with the eraser, it's easy to fix and erase. We have our first shape in here, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. The next step, we're going to add the tail and the head. So I'm going to start with the head because it's a little bit bigger. It's important to start with your bigger shapes first, and then add your smaller shapes. There we go. I like my head and my tail. Now I'm going to be moving on to this little squiggly line and the face. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Look at where the squiggly line starts. It starts near the tail. I'm going to add it right here, a little dot so I know where to start. And I'm going to squiggle it around until I get to the middle of the shell. Then I'm going to move on to the face. I want a nice little smiley face on the side right here. And an eye, another little circle right inside there. Moving on to the last step, we see this funny line that kind of goes right behind the snail. But do you notice how that line, which we call the horizon line, separates the sky from the ground, or it could be the wall and the floor, and then it places the snail on the ground. So whenever you add the horizon line, you want it behind the object. Last, we have a few little details. Details are all the little things that we want to add towards the end of the picture. And I see the eye in here and the antenna. So I'm going to draw in these fun little antenna, little circles, and the pupil of the eye. Now, if you prefer to add some color, you can use some colored pencils, some markers, some crayons, whatever you want. And go ahead and have fun and add some interesting little details around your snail. You can also add, say, flowers if you want to. You could add a cloud. Have fun with it. It was great working with you today.